I pack a carry-on bag with cold weather and warm weather clothes, and I head to the airport. When I leave Richmond, I'll usually go to JFK or to Atlanta because that's where the majority of our international flights leave from, and I happened to get on a flight to Atlanta. So while I was on the flight, I looked at the departing flights from Atlanta that were going international to choose where I wanted to go. When I'm looking for flights, I look for flights that have seats open in the Delta One cabin because as employees, we only get seats that are available, and we don't know if we're going to get a seat until 30 minutes prior to departure. That's when they assign our seat, and that's when I will find out if I'm getting on the flight or not. So it's really last minute. You have to be super flexible and have backup options. But it just so happened that I made this flight and I ended up going to Santiago, Chile. I know that this one says Buenos Aires. I didn't make that one, and Santiago was my second choice. Once I get my seat assignment, I take those 30 minutes before the flight boards to look for hotels or Airbnbs. I did find a really nice Marriott in Chile that would have a driver come pick me up once I arrived, so I booked that while I still had good Wi-Fi. Once you're on the plane, if you get Delta One cabin, you get a pillow and a down comforter blanket and a few other things I'll walk you through. This is room so you can stretch out and lay down and sleep. You get slippers, and then you also get this welcome kit, which these are handmade, which was really cool. I watched the video on how they were made once I was on the aircraft. And it comes with like earplugs, toothpaste, and eye mask so that you can sleep on the plane.
It's our pleasure to have you on board with us today. If you could please find your assigned seat as quickly as possible. This way the person right behind you can do the same.
You will also have a paper menu in your seat, and the flight attendants will come around and ask you what you want for your meal so that they can prepare it. And I usually always pick the vegetarian option, and this is what was on the menu for that trip. Every time you go international, going and coming back, you'll have a different menu, and I've never had the same thing twice. You also get a pair of noise canceling headphones that have been sanitized, which is great. And these are the options. You can lay flat, you can recline, or you can sit up straight in your seat. And once you're all settled, you can start watching TV before you take off. And about an hour after takeoff, they'll start the dinner service, or breakfast service, depending on what time you're flying. And you get dinner, a snack, dessert, and then you also get breakfast. This is an option for breakfast. Once I land, I usually will look for an option to get to my Airbnb or my hotel, but my hotel already set up a driver to come pick me up, so I just called them and let them know where I was, and he came to get me. In so much of my solo international travel, I've had to find ways to get to my accommodation, whether that is by rental car, train, a smaller airplane, and it all works out. You just have to research and set it up. I was not even in Santiago, Chile for 24 hours. Once I got to the hotel, it was a Marriott and it was a reputable brand. However, I didn't get a good vibe. Their energy was off, and I decided to go back to the airport where I ate dinner and got on a flight back to Atlanta. I ate again because it was free. I had this tuna steak as well as this dessert. And one thing that is really important to know when you travel international, you do not need global entry. You can download this free app called Mobile Passport Control on your phone, and it'll help you to skip the line. When I got back to Atlanta and cleared customs, I wasn't ready to go home, so I decided to go to Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, and I hopped on a flight. I booked a room once I was on the flight, and here it is. I was here for 2 days and the energy was so much better. Everyone at the hotel was so friendly, and I'm really big on energy and my intuition, and I listened to it. Once I got settled, I did walk to get food and explore. I always ask the hotel staff if it's a safe area, if it's safe to walk, where's the best area to get certain food if I'm interested, and I wanted Italian, so I went to Solo Dine and got Italian. After I ate, I continued exploring, and I went to this grocery store that was massive across the street from my hotel, and this is what my breakfast looked like the next morning. When I woke up, I had to teach a class, so I had an early breakfast, and then I taught on the pool deck. I always try to find somewhere to teach class with the music where I'm not going to bother anyone if I'm in public, so this was perfect, and then I went back to the hotel to leave.
Quiero sin vivir un poquito más y vivir esta historia, aunque nadie se entere, y quiero que pronuncies mi nombre cuando llegue el momento.